I used to defend my haircut like it was part of my identity, even when the mirror was gently trying to tell me something else. For years I kept the same shape because it felt safe, because a stylist once said it worked for me, and because changing it felt like admitting something I wasn't ready to admit. Here's what nobody tells you. Certain hairstyles quietly signal an era, not a face. They're not wrong because they're old. They're wrong because they stopped moving with you. Today I'm walking you through 5 hairstyles that are quietly adding years without your permission, and exactly what to ask for instead, so the change works with your bone structure instead of against it. I researched the worst style and beauty mistakes and the best fixes for women over 50, so you get real results, fast. If you haven't already, hit subscribe. I cover this every week. Part 1. The Helmet Perm. Here's something a stylist told me once that stuck with me. Uniform curls reflect light the exact same way across your entire head, and that flatness is what makes a perm read as dated faster than almost anything else. It's not the curl itself. It's the sameness. When every curl is the identical size and the identical shape, there's no shadow, no depth, nothing for the eye to land on. Just one solid rounded mass sitting on top of your face. If you're picturing your own hair right now, you're not alone. A lot of women got a tight, uniform perm decades ago because it held shape reliably, and somewhere along the way reliable turned into unchanged. You kept getting the same rod size because it was familiar, not because anyone ever looked at your face shape and asked if it was still doing you any favors. So here's the one fix, and I want you to actually hear the mechanics of why it works. You're going to ask for a diffused perm using variable rod sizes, combined with long layers built throughout the whole head, not a uniform set. Variable rod sizes mean the curl pattern changes as it moves down the hair, which naturally creates shadow and dimension instead of one flat curl shape. The long layers do something separate but just as important. They remove weight from the ends so the curl can actually move when you turn your head, instead of holding one static rounded silhouette all day. Say it exactly like this in the chair. I'd like a diffused perm with mixed rod sizes, long layers throughout, and no uniform curl pattern. I want movement, not volume for its own sake. That sentence tells your stylist you understand what you're asking for. And it protects you from walking out with the same tight, dated set you walked in with. Here's the part that actually changes how people read you. Once the curl has variation and the layers let it move, your face stops looking framed by a solid shape and starts looking framed by something soft and alive. People stop seeing a hairstyle first and start seeing you first. The curl becomes a detail instead of the headline. That's the whole difference between looking finished and looking done. And there's a maintenance piece worth knowing, because it's what makes this actually sustainable instead of another appointment you dread. Ask your stylist to use a lightweight curl cream rather than gel, scrunched in while the hair is still damp. Gel tends to clump the variable curl sizes back into that same uniform mass you were trying to leave behind, while cream lets each size of curl keep its own shape. Air dry when you can, and only diffuse on low heat if you're short on time. This is a style built to look a little different every single day. And that's the point. Sameness was what aged it in the first place. The swap, named plainly, a tight, uniform small rod perm on one side, a diffused variable curl perm with long layers on the other. Same amount of curl. Completely different decade. Now, the next one on this list is a style so common you might be wearing it right now without even clocking it as the problem, and it has to do with a shape you probably think of as safe. Part 2, the blunt layerless bob. A blunt bob with no layers behaves like a single solid block of hair, and blocks don't move, they sit. Every strand ends at exactly the same length, which means the whole shape hangs like one heavy piece instead of framing your face the way hair is actually supposed to. Your eye doesn't travel up toward your cheekbones or your eyes. It gets pulled straight down to that hard, flat edge at the bottom, and that edge tends to square off the jaw, even on a jaw that isn't square at all. If you kept this cut for easy care, I get it completely. A blunt bob is genuinely low maintenance, and that's exactly why it becomes the style you never revisit. Nobody wakes up one day and decides to keep a haircut for 11 years. It just quietly stays because it's simple, and simple starts to look stiff long before you notice. The fix is a layered bob with point-cut ends and face-framing layers that start right at the cheekbone. Point cutting means the stylist cuts up into the hair at an angle instead of straight across, which breaks that hard, heavy edge into soft, feathered pieces. Starting the layers at the cheekbone matters specifically. That's the exact spot where a diagonal line does the most lifting work, because it draws the eye upward and outward instead of straight down to the jaw. Ask for it this way. I want a layered bob with point-cut ends, and I'd like the face framing layers to start at my cheekbones, not at my chin. That last detail, cheekbone, not chin, is the difference between a bob that softens your whole face and one that only adds a little shag to the same heavy shape. Here's what actually shifts once this is done. The blunt edge that used to square off your jaw is gone, replaced by movement that lands right where your face naturally lifts. People stop seeing a haircut and start noticing your eyes and your cheekbones first, because there's finally a line leading them there. It reads less like a style and more like your actual bone structure was allowed to show up. For upkeep, this cut actually needs less rigidity than the blunt version, not more. A texturizing spray at the roots and a loose, low round brush blowout keeps the point-cut pieces separated instead of blending back into one solid line. Skip the flat iron for this one. Heat that presses hair flat will undo the exact texture you just paid for. A trim every 8 to 10 weeks keeps the point-cut ends sharp instead of growing out into blunt again. The swap, plainly, a blunt, solid-edge bob at the chin on one side, a layered point-cut bob with cheekbone-level face framing on the other. The length barely changes. The way your whole face reads does. I'll admit the next one surprised even me when I first learned the actual reason it ages a face. It has nothing to do with length and everything to do with gravity. Part 3, long, flat hair with no layers. Here's the part almost nobody explains properly. Hair that hangs flat and straight past the shoulders without a single layer works like a weight, and weight pulls. Every inch of that length is tugging the skin around your face downward with it, which is exactly why long, flat, layerless hair can make a face look tired even when the woman wearing it isn't tired at all. It's not your skin doing that. It's the hair. A lot of women keep this length for decades under a simple, understandable logic. If it isn't broken, don't fix it. The hair grows, you trim the ends, the length stays roughly the same. And nobody ever stops to ask whether that exact silhouette is still serving the face it's framing now versus the face it was framing 20 years ago. The fix here is a collarbone length lob with side-swept layering, and a side part instead of a center one. Cutting to the collarbone removes a genuine amount of weight, often several inches, which immediately reduces how hard gravity is pulling on the face. The side-swept layers then let what's left move diagonally instead of hanging straight down, and the side part on its own creates asymmetry, which reads as lifted and current in a way a perfectly centered part almost never does. Ask for exactly this. I'd like a collarbone length lob with side-swept layers, and I want to move from a center part to a deep side part. Naming the part change matters just as much as naming the length. A lot of women get the length cut and keep the same center part, and the lift effect gets cancelled out entirely. The result is immediate and visible the first time you look in the mirror afterward, without all that extra length pulling down. And with the diagonal part doing quiet lifting work, your whole face reads more awake, more forward, more present in the room. It's the closest thing to an instant energy shift you can get from a single appointment. Maintaining a side part after years of a center one takes about 2 weeks of intention. The hair has a memory, so blow dry it directionally toward the new part for the first several washes until it stops fighting you. A round brush lifted at the root on the heavier side keeps the asymmetry looking deliberate instead of accidental. This length also plays beautifully with a texturizing spray on second-day hair, which most long, flat styles never really allowed. The swap, named clearly, long, flat, layerless hair past the shoulders with a center part on one side, a collarbone length lob with side-swept layers and a deep side part on the other. Shorter, lighter, and doing far less pulling on your face. There's one more style habit that's so common at salons you've probably had it done to you without ever once asking for it by name. Part 4. The over-teased, over-processed crown. There's a specific kind of volume that reads as instantly dated, and it isn't about how much height you have. It's about where the height comes from. Heavy backcombing at the crown builds a dense, compacted structure that doesn't move when you do. Your head turns, your hair doesn't. That stiffness is a signal your brain and everyone else's registers almost instantly. The same way you'd clock a rotary phone in a room full of smartphones, even before you consciously notice why something feels off. If this is you, You probably started teasing your crown for volume years ago because your hair felt thin at the root, and it worked, so you kept doing it. The habit made sense at the time. It just never got updated once softer, more natural volume techniques became available. The fix is a soft root lift blowout that builds volume from the root itself, instead of from backcombing the mid-lengths. Here's the mechanical difference. Teasing creates volume by tangling the hair shaft into a compact knot, which is why it feels stiff and stays stiff. Root lift creates volume by drying the hair at the scalp in a lifted position, using a round brush and a blast of cool air to set that lift. The volume comes from the angle the hair grows out at, not from any tangling, so it stays soft and still moves naturally. Ask your stylist to show you this exact technique. Or if you're doing it yourself, use this language to search for the method. Root lift blowout with a volumizing mousse applied at the scalp, dried with the brush lifting hair away from the head at a 90-degree angle, finished with a blast of cool air to lock the lift in place. No backcombing, no teasing comb, at any point. What changes here is subtle, but people notice it immediately. Your hair starts to look lived in instead of set. It moves with a breeze, it moves when you laugh, and that movement alone reads as current in a way that no amount of teased height ever could, no matter how tall it stood. Maintenance-wise, this is genuinely gentler on your hair than years of teasing ever was. Backcombing causes real breakage over time, so you may notice your hair actually feels healthier within a few months of switching. Use a volumizing mousse rather than a heavy gel at the roots. And reapply root lift with just your fingers and a blast of cool air on day 2 instead of teasing it back up. The swap, named directly, a heavily teased, stiff bouffant crown on one side, a soft, natural root lift volume on the other. Both have height. Only one of them moves. One more is coming, and it's the one I get asked about the most in the comments. Part 5, the severe buzzed pixie. A pixie cut buzzed too short at the sides and back, with nothing left on top for texture, reads harder than almost any other style on this list, and here's the actual reason why. Your face needs a soft transition point where hair meets skin. Some length, some texture, something for the eye to settle into. When that transition is replaced by clipper short, uniform stubble, the shape becomes almost architectural, all sharp lines and no softness, and it removes exactly the framing your face actually needs. If you're wearing this now, it likely started as a genuinely smart, low-maintenance choice. And then appointment after appointment, it just got a little shorter each time, because shorter felt easier to ask for than explaining what you actually wanted. Nobody set out to buzz it. It just crept there. The fix is a longer, textured pixie with a point-cut fringe and softly graduated sides, not clippers all over. Length left on top gives the stylist something to actually cut texture into, rather than leave uniformly flat. A point-cut fringe, cut upward into the hair rather than straight across, falls in soft, irregular pieces around your forehead and eyes instead of one hard line. Graduated sides, where the length transitions gradually rather than dropping straight to skin, keep the architecture but remove the harshness. Ask for this precisely. I want a textured pixie with a longer top, a point-cut fringe and softly graduated sides. Please don't take the sides down to clippers. That specific line about the sides matters most, because it's the detail most often lost between what you picture and what ends up happening in the chair. Here's the outcome that actually lands. The severity disappears, but the low-maintenance ease you liked about the style in the first place stays completely intact. What changes is how the cut reads on you. Softer around the eyes, more feminine in the transition at your temples. While still being a wash-and-go style, you can be out the door within minutes. For upkeep, ask your stylist for a texturizing paste rather than a heavy pomade. Paste separates the point-cut pieces on top without weighing the fringe flat. Book trims every 4 to 5 weeks specifically on the sides, since graduated sides grow out faster into shapelessness than the top does. It stays just as easy as the buzzed version. It just looks intentional instead of severe. The swap, named plainly, a severely buzzed pixie with no top texture on one side, a longer, textured pixie with a point-cut fringe and graduated sides on the other. Same amount of effort in the morning. Completely different read on your whole face. You now know exactly what's making 5 of the most common hairstyles read older than they need to, and more importantly, you know the precise words to say in the chair to fix each one. This isn't guesswork anymore, it's a plan. Which one of these 5 did you recognize yourself in the second I described it? Tell me in the comments. I read every single one. Next week I'm breaking down the color mistakes that are doing the exact same thing to women over 50, so you won't want to miss it. Like this video, subscribe to Timeless Wisdom Path, and I'll see you in the next one.